Hey, family, welcome back to another episode of Journey to Harmony. I'm your host, Richard Harmon. On this channel, we talk about the process of building wealth, different career opportunities that are available, and how we use these things to accomplish our purpose that we were created to achieve. Today, I wanted to bring you guys a video just about the Breakfast Club. Um, a popular channel that speaks about different topics, different things like that. So, Charlemagne the God is someone who hosts the show. He has DJ Envy, I believe, who's there as well, who uses as a co-producer of the show, and they've been doing this for some time. They've I think they have well over 1 million subscribers, and they're able to bring in some very popular people in terms of who is viewing the show. They had a chance today to have Vivek Ramasway, I believe his name is. I'm sure I butchered that, but he is currently running for presidential candidate. I believe on the Republican side. He's a conservative, and he's in the past have been able to build up a tech company, biopharmaceutical company that is able to help. I think he has 5 or 6 so different FDA approvals for some of the drugs that he's brought in. So he's had a chance to go in and sit down and speak today in front of this group of people. And it starts off pretty well, and then eventually it goes off the rails. So here's the video here right now of this. I'll probably play about 3 minutes of it and then come back and speak to it afterwards. Please comment below what are your thoughts as you're watching, and we can go from there.
What allowed me to achieve success? My parents gave me a great family foundation. I didn't grow up in money. We're trying to give that to my 2 kids as well. I want that to be enjoyed by Americans across the country. Belief in the country, national pride. Less than 16% of Gen Z even says they're proud to be an American. I'm not making this one up. This is about a month ago. There was a good survey. 60% of young Americans said that they would sooner give up their right to vote than to give up access to TikTok or other social media. That's a problem. So I think we have a crisis of national pride.
Whose fault is that, though? That's America's fault. That's the system's fault for constantly failing the people.
Well, I see it. I see it less about, we can allocate the blame. We can talk about allocating the blame. I think there's blame to go around. I think it's up to all of us to take a long, hard look in the mirror and ask ourselves, what is that vacuum in our heart? It's an old saying that goes, if there's a hole the size of God in your heart and God does not fill it, something else will instead. I think the same applies for belief in a nation as well. So I think what's going on is we're human beings. What makes us different from animals is that we can believe. We need to believe in something bigger than ourselves. And when we lose God and family and country, we start believing in new false gods instead.
Yeah, so as I previously stated, the conversation goes on like this for a little while, for maybe about 5 minutes. It's pretty good between DJ Envy and Charlemagne the God and Vivek himself. Conversations, it's like you said, like it's a differing of opinion, but it's still pretty cordial. So we see there. And then after that, there's kind of like a twist and turn when another person is brought in. So I'll go ahead and play that part.
Our camera guy, do you know the 3 branches of the federal government?
Over 24, so it don't matter.
But I'm just saying, but nobody knows there are 24. Red, do you know the 3 branches?
Executive.
Well, I got a test. I would like to see if you're willing to pass, because I believe in, just as you believe in civic engagement, I believe in changing the ideas of what political opponents look like, what they should look like, our political candidates. Are you willing to take a test with me quickly? Because I just have a couple of questions for you.
I will, absolutely.
So
and the way this is opening up, I have a feeling I'm about to fail it, but that's good. Let's do it.
That's right, yeah. Just for clarity, I am an independent. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. Cool. I think that's important for the premise of the argument, because I know you did a lot of debating at Harvard. I also want to make it clear that these are the same questions that I asked liberal Democrat Marianne Williamson. So I want to make sure that we put that out there as well, just to kind of set the foundation.
I'm open to being humbled. Let's do this.
Okay, great. Let's go. So you mentioned, the pride of being an American and how important it is to have pride in this country. I'm also a veteran, by the way, for the United States Air Force. So when is it that you voted for the first time?
I voted in 2020.
Okay, so you're how old again?
I'm 37 years old.
So for how many years you sat around and did not get involved at all in any civic engagement? Is that my understanding?
A long time is the answer. And actually, that's what I wrote this book about. I'm not holding myself out as some sort of model. I'm actually offering myself as a self-reflection of my journey as a citizen to whom this country has given much, right? As an adult, when you have kids, it changes your perspectives. I'm very honest about that. Absolutely.
Okay, no problem. So let's go deeper into the self-reflection. So you've sat around for, and sir, I'm being as respectful as I possibly can. Please don't take anything
and you don't even have to be. And you don't even have to be. So take it off and let's go.
So you've been sitting around in the country that my ancestors built for about 20 years. Your parents came over as immigrants, brought you over. You made millions, according to your resume, off of this country, and you have absolutely not been involved in civics. One, not voting, and two, let me just ask, because I know you mentioned earlier you don't want to sit around at the debate and talk about accomplishments. Let's make the accomplishments pretty simple. In high school, were you ever a class president or take any leadership role? Because your opponent did, Chris Christie. He was the class president. So have you ever taken any leadership at all on anything? Or just
can I just correct a couple factual things that are kind of important? My parents didn't bring me over to the country. I was born in this country, and I'm proud of that.
No, I know you were born here in Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio.
You mentioned my parents.
I'm saying your parents were immigrants. My apologies.
And that's all right. You said your parents brought you over to this country. I thought I would set that record straight.
I mean, they were immigrants, but let's not go down the water hole.
No, we're not going to water hole. I just want to correct a couple facts. And then the other thing is,
you were born here in Ohio.
I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. That's right.
Right. So you've been here your entire life. So the question is, did you take any leadership role in middle school, high school, class president?
I did.
I know you played tennis. What is it? Explain it to us.
Student council. But, I think that this is I have held leadership roles over my life, but those don't qualify me to do what I'm doing now.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Okay,
it kind of does. I'm giving the test. I'm the test administrator.
All right, there you go.
So it kind of does, because when you go from saying I want to go to the highest office,
and I'll tell you, I've led companies as well. Is the other leader?
Right,
the main leadership role I've played is and I want to talk about one early part of your premise that I also want to say, bring it to the country point. The other point, you use the word sitting around. I'm not somebody who's saying I want the next generation, my kids' generation, to have more civic duties when they graduate from high school and college than I did when I did. That being said, I wasn't sitting around. I've developed medicines, 5 of which are FDA-approved products today, one of which is a life-saving therapy in kids, 20 of whom die by the age of 3 if they're not treated, 70% of whom now live lives of a normal duration. Another one for prostate cancer. So I don't apologize for making contributions. But
right. Well, I don't want you to filibuster that because
just
that's not the question that I asked. And I don't consider, as a veteran, I'm talking about service. I'm not talking about what you did for profit. I'm not talking about what you paid people to do with your company.
So I've not served the country
because that means nothing to me.
Yeah, so that was a video there. So I linked a link to the video in the bottom, just showing you the full clip. You can go on and watch that. I heard this initially from a different podcaster, and I wanted to see what the comments were saying in the actual video. So I went to the Breakfast Club website. I clicked on the video, and I was surprised about how dominant the comment section was. Again, I'll post that in the description below. But everyone in the comments were basically saying the same thing. They were like, this guy's done so many things that are successful, and there's a lot of times, a rapper or somebody like that would get more respect than what was given to this particular person. So, some things I want to talk about today, with this video, just kind of overall focus and advice for us is that, if you don't go along with groupthink, you will be persecuted. So again, it's if he had ideas that was okay and was familiar with everyone else, there would be no problem with it. But because he has something different and he's coming from a different side of the platform, it's kind of seen as an outsider, someone that's not worthy of being listened to. So just a update for us, right? So as we're doing, what is it that we've been called to do as we're seeking how we can build wealth? These are some of the things to consider, because not everyone's going to be happy for you that you are doing what is it that you were purposed for. Additionally, don't be afraid to speak in front of people who think differently from you. Something that happened here is that most people didn't know who Vivek was prior to this interview, and he went on a platform that reaches millions of people daily, yearly, and everything else. And now people have been saying, hey, I didn't know who this person was, but I'm interested in possibly hearing more about what he has to say. And I think it kind of backfired in terms of what was expected to happen and what actually happened. I think this was a huge win for him individually. I think he came out ahead. And this is just a word of advice again to us, is that don't allow yourself to be closed into your own environment, that just kind of just like an echo chamber that's always speaking and hearing the same things that we hear. And finally, don't we don't have to be perfect. We're able to go and to start. A lot of times people will say, oh well, you didn't do this particular thing that you said you were going to do. Yeah, well, I'm working on myself every single day. And it's important, right? If you're just starting off, to separate yourself, right? In the Bible, oftentimes when the Lord gives a vision or something to someone, he immediately takes that person away from their family, because a lot of times they want to remind him like, hey, this is not who you are. You can't be a millionaire. You can't be influential. You can't be any of these things because you grew up in this household. But we have to understand that we each have a purpose, and that purpose is given to us by our Creator, and we're capable of becoming anything that we decide to be, as long as we're willing to put the work in and to think wisely and to execute a plan for that. What are your thoughts on this? Please comment below. Let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. And thank you so much for joining the channel.